very pleased to be here in Assisi today, before the Cathedral of San Rufino, where Francis and Claire were baptized. I've just been to see their baptismal font, and it is on the occasion of the Synod ending its first session in Rome. I've already had the opportunity to do a burning bush reflection on the Synod, and most of the attention recently has been on the Synod and the topics that are being discussed there. What hasn't really happened is some reflection on the fact that Pope Francis started the Synod on the feast of St. Francis, the 4th of October. And I wanted to come to Assisi just to do some background preparation for a pilgrimage that I plan to do next year with the Cameroonians. And this gives me an opportunity also to do a reflection on a very important part of Pope Francis' work at the moment, which is in the area of that he has been inspired by St. Francis in. That is peace and poverty and the environment, all of that area which Francis played such a wonderful part in. As we know, he was a man of poverty, a man of peace, and a man who brought a new vision of the Church in his time. Pope Francis is doing the same at this moment, and he takes his inspiration from Francis of Assisi, whose life and wonderful work we recall here in this special sacred place. Hello, Monsignor Daniel McHugh. My reflection for the 31st week of the year and Laudate Deum, praise God, the 5th of November 2023. Lord, you will show me the path of life and fill me with joy in your presence. The communion antiphon for the 31st Sunday. When I was thinking of my reflection for the 31st week, I had in mind the importance of including an introduction to Laudate Deum, praise God, which is the title of the Apostolic Exhortation of Pope Francis, published on the 4th of October, the date of the beginning of the Synod, which I introduced in a reflection a few weeks ago. 4th of October is the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, and I am sure it was no accident that the Apostolic Exhortation and the Synod were launched in this day. I had planned to make a short visit to Rome and Assisi at this time. I came as the first phase of the Synod ended 28th of October, and I made my way to Assisi on Sunday the 29th, concelebrating Mass in the Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels, where the saint welcomed the first brothers, forming the order of the Franciscans in 1209. It is called the Portiuncula, a beautiful chapel within the huge basilica built later. Here it was in 1211 that St. Clare took the religious habit too and founded the Poor Clares. Nearby is the Transito, a small chapel built over the place where Francis died on the 3rd of October, 1226. Here St. Francis wrote the final verse of the Canticle of Brother Sun and blessed his brothers for the last time. The first chapel dedicated to St. Mary of the Angels was probably built here in the 4th century, and the Benedictine monks transformed it into the present church in the 9th or 10th century. The name Portiuncula means a little part and indicates the portion of ground where the church was built. St. Bonaventure wrote, he, St. Francis, loved this more than all other places in the world. Here he humbly began. Here he progressed in virtue. Here he happily arrived at his fulfillment. Pope Francis, like all of us, has been inspired by the Canticle of the Sun, also known as Canticle of the Creatures, a religious song composed by St. Francis of Assisi. It is an affirmation of Francis' personal theology. as he often referred to animals as brothers and sisters to mankind, rejected material accumulation and sensual comforts in favour of lady poverty. Francis is said to have composed most of the canticle in late 1224 while recovering from an illness in San Damiano. I quote the English translation at the end of this reflection. In 2015, Pope Francis issued his encyclical Laudato Si on climate change and degradation of the environment, addressing questions such as pollution, industrial waste, the destruction of the environment, and escalating global warming. 8 years later, the Holy Father has issued the apostolic exhortation Laudate Deum, to all peoples of goodwill on the climate crisis. The opening words are the message of St. Francis of Assisi, praise God for all his creatures. And he goes on to refer to Laudato Si as an encyclical letter where, quote, I wanted to share with all of you, my brothers and sisters of our suffering planet, my heartfelt concerns about the care of our common home. The Pope goes on to say, with the passage of time, I have realized that our response has not been adequate, while the world in which we live is collapsing and may be nearing the breaking point. It is indubitable that the impact of climate change will increasingly prejudice the lives and families of many persons. We feel its effects in areas of healthcare, sources of employment, access to resources, housing, forced migrations, etc. This is a global social issue and one intimately related to the dignity of human life. He goes on to quote the bishops of the United States. Our care for one another and our care for the earth are intimately bound together. The effects of climate change are borne by the most vulnerable people, whether at home or around the world. In the Gospel for the 31st Sunday, Jesus extends his message beyond the scribes and Pharisees to all of us. They proclaim their belief in love of God and neighbour by wearing phylacteries and tassels. Are we any better, less hypocritical, in proclaiming love of God and neighbour while taking part in practices that harm our common home? Following my visit to St. Mary of the Angels, I went to San Rufino, the Cathedral Church of Assisi, where St. Francis and St. Clare were baptized. Pope Francis continues to remind us that baptism is at the heart of our common calling to be brothers and sisters of Jesus, now being lived out in a synodal church. Then my pilgrimage day took me to San Francesco, where the saint's tomb is to be found in the Lower Church. Many were in prayer before his remains, and I joined them there. Finally, I stood in admiration once more of the great Giotto paintings of the life of Francis in the upper church. May his life inspire all of us on our journey. Here is the Canticle of the Son. Most High, all-powerful, good Lord, yours are the praises, the glory, the honour, and all blessing. To you alone, Most High, do they belong, and no man is worthy to mention your name. Be praised, my Lord, through all your creatures, especially through my Lord, brother Sun, who brings the day, and you give light through him. And he is beautiful and radiant in all his splendour. Of you, Most High, he bears the likeness. Praised be you, my Lord, through Sister Moon and the stars. In heaven they formed them clear. You formed them clear and precious and beautiful. Praised be you, my Lord, through Brother Wind, and through the air, cloudy and serene, and every kind of weather through which you give sustenance to your creatures. Praised be you, my Lord, through Sister Water, which is very useful and humble and precious and chaste. Praised be you, my Lord, through Brother Fire, through whom you light the night, and he is beautiful and playful and robust and strong. Praised be you, my Lord, through Sister Mother Earth, who sustains us and governs us, and who produces varied fruits with coloured flowers and herbs. Praised be you, my Lord, through those who give pardon for your love, and bear infirmity and tribulation. Blessed are those who endure in peace, for you, my Most High, they shall be crowned. Praised be you, my Lord, through our sister bodily death, from whom no living man can escape. Woe to those who die in mortal sin. Blessed are those who will find your most holy will, for the second death shall do them no harm. Praise and bless my Lord, and give him thanks, and serve him with great humility. Well, this is the last part of my reflection for Burning Bush and for next Sunday's Mass. This morning I began my short pilgrimage to Assisi with Mass in the Santa Maria dei Angeli, where Francis began, where you have the Pozioncolo Chapel and also the Transito Chapel, where he passed, Transito meaning passed, where he died. And now I'm finishing the day where I've been thinking about Laudate Deum, the document that Francis produced on the environment of the earth on the 4th of October, beginning the Synod in Rome. And I'm at the Basilica of San Francesco. St. Francis Basilica has an upper and lower basilica. In the lower one, you have the body, the place where Francis is buried. And I'm looking forward to visiting that now. And I hope that what I have done, both at the beginning and the end with this Burning Bush video, will have interested you in pilgrimage to Assisi, and also that you will understand a little bit more about the famous work Pope Francis is doing on the importance of Mother Earth and the whole of creation that St. Francis taught us and inspired Pope Francis